Hey, this is Robert. Thank you so much for tuning in to technically Solomon Shrine because, pretty sure this might be my last episode of that little mini series for a while. But what better way to close off this little mini series for now than to invite uh, somebody that actually was in the, you probably might have seen the credits, like the cast reveal announcements, but they're the police officer in my little teaser there. So will they come back? Who knows? But this is Josie. Thank you so much for joining me on. Uh, I mean, just I don't know if it's Nicholas or Josie. Like, I
Oh,
just
Josie. Sorry, yeah, don't worry about the Nicholas. This is technically my partner's Zoom account, so it latched onto there,
oh, okay,
and
yeah,
I didn't have time with setting everything else up to get it moved over to mine. So yeah, Josie.
yeah. Well, Josie, just ignore Nicholas for now. I
Oh
think
yeah,
you could probably change it on Zoom. I think there's a function where you could do that.
probably.
Yeah, just to make sure I don't get the name just doesn't throw me off during this.
No, totally. That is completely understandable. Yeah, here, let me see what I can figure out on
Okay.
this. And these are all things that would have been amazing to do ahead of time if I was a thinking girl. Let's see.
Trust me, look, it's been a long, long week just getting ready for the 4th of July, so I totally feel you, man. I totally feel you.
Okay, there we go.
Hey, there we go. So yeah, this is Josie D, police officer, Solomon Shrine. Thank you so much for joining me on this evening.
Howdy, howdy. Nice to be here, Robert. Thanks for having me on.
Yep, anytime. So I guess to start this off, how would you describe 2025 as far as work goes, personal life? Just talk with us.
I mean, as far as 2025 goes, I think in a word, I could call it tumultuous. It's certainly been an interesting year for a trans women in America. I won't get into a lot of the political mess on that because I'm sure plenty of people have heard way enough of that. In terms of work, it got off to a bit of a slow start, but it's been picking up pretty nicely. I have gotten in on a few projects that I can't totally talk about yet, but I'm super excited to share later on. And I was super excited to see, that Solomon Shrine was progressing because I had a lot of fun recording for that. One of my favorite screams I've ever done, I'll say that. But yeah, no, like it's been eventful, but it's been nice. It's been nice in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, right there with ya, tumultuous, but at the end of the day, we're still here, we're still kicking butt, and still doing what we love every single day.
No doubt
That's
about it.
just life in general. Like, no year is perfect. Like, I know we've had some pretty crazy years back in our time, but yeah, I think it's nothing like living in the now and the present that it's like, yeah, you know what, things could be a lot worse, but things could be a lot better. So we're just kind of like in that weird in between where it's like, we're hanging in there, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, um, we're still doing our best, in spite of the circumstances. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we're kicking. Like, one of my favorite phrases is existence is resistance. So, like, so long as we express our joy and live our lives, that alone is doing a lot to just keep us here?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I guess we could just get right down to the questions here that I kind of forgot to send you, but we'll just
Oh
wing it.
no. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just definitely wing it. That's probably the best that we can do.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
do it best anyway. So I wanted to know from you, what are some of the, I guess as far as like 2025 or maybe even the past couple of years go, like what would you say are some of your, I guess, proudest or just the stuff that you've kind of been voicing in that you say it's like, oh yeah, I like this. I'm just super happy that I kind of am a part of this, just some of your most exciting stuff and just talk about some of your projects that you've been working on as
Oh
of
yeah,
late.
absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, one that comes to mind first and foremost is I played the role of Malbec, venue owner, in a visual novel that's currently on itch.io called Be Our Guest, a matinee cabaret game. It is by a streamer by the name of Chai, who is an artist that I very much admire, and I really, really enjoyed the chance to work with her. It is just, it's a very small but very like high quality VN. There is so much love that was put into this, in all the illustrations, into just the into the writing of it, being able to be part of that, being part of something that is queer, being part of something that is furry, being part of something that, it just expresses this kind of casual joy. It was a real delight to be in. Along with that, something I'm really excited released fairly recently was B-Side 13 for a horror anthology podcast, The Sheridan Tapes. Another production that is, very queer focused, which is something super important to me, that has produced a lot of art that I've really, really enjoyed. I actually got to play the role of a young Edgar Morrison in this, and the production itself, it's centered a lot on themes of, queer repression, just in previous decades. It was set, in a period in which queer people, were, kind of had to live closeted for their own safety. So it dealt with, themes of repression as well as the resilience we feel inside of that, which I think for right now is a really important thing. I feel really privileged to have been part of that.
Yeah. I think personally for me this year is like, as somebody who is African American, like we celebrated like, I mean, I'm just gonna say right now, Black History Month is just kind of like all year long for me
Totes.
personally, and also Juneteenth, which is kind of like another big major holiday for like African folk, African Americans, and I'm just really glad that we're just seeing a lot more like seeing a lot more characters. And I literally just did another interview before this with somebody who you might see probably sometime later this month because my schedule is nuts. But we were
Of
just kind of
course,
talking
yeah.
about just why it's so it's so great to just see a character that is like, oh my gosh, that's actually me. It's just really fun to just see so many characters that are just more authentically us and not just stereotypes or just being played as a joke or just being
No,
seen as like a punching bag.
absolutely.
Yeah,
No, I completely feel you there. No, like the strides that we have made in representation in media are astronomical, for people of, yeah, various races, various gender identities, various sexualities. Like the amount of marginalized people you can see in media these days, it means a lot and it's very important. And it really is so cool to know that there are people that can, watch or listen or play things that have people like them in them. It goes a long way.
yeah. And just seeing the progression of how it just kind of came from like, if this was like even a decade or 2 decades ago, I don't know if we would have had this much like progression going on with like, so many movements that are going around
Mhm.
and just seeing a lot of this stuff in media, period.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the kicker with that is like, as much backlash as some of this tend to get, genie's out of the bottle. We're not going back on that. We're not going anywhere in any of this. So we are just going to continue being out and visible and basically in the world.
Exactly. So I guess since we're kind of on the subject of different
Mhm.
media and what have you, were there any is there anything in mind that kind of already comes to mind? It's like, oh wow, okay, so this kind of really speaks to me in a really profound way, and I think if I'm gonna be a creator, I would want to do something kind of like this. So whether it's like a show, a game, movie, just name anything that has left such a big impact on your personal life and creatively, for that matter.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Give me just a moment to consider
Okay.
that. Um, I mean, okay, no, actually, I have something. One of the things that has impacted me most strongly, and forgive me, it's a bit of a juvenile answer, but you've probably heard of it. I'm sure plenty of people have. It was on the Disney Channel, for God's sake. A cartoon called The Owl House. It
Hmm.
is an animation that, ran on Disney Channel, like I said, and it had a lot of incredible representation in it of just various types of people. For as much as it could be on something like Disney, it was as unabashedly queer as it could. It was as it could be. Like it had openly non-binary characters, which, is incredible incredible, honestly, to see that in a kids' cartoon on Disney. I'm sure it would have had openly trans characters. I thought I could get away with it. And just seeing the work that Dana Terrace did on that, it was absolutely astounding. And I know, especially right now, during a time where, worlds of witches and wizards have become somewhat hostile to trans crowds, given the actions of a certain author that will go unnamed. Um,
I know who you're
um,
talking about.
I'm
It's
sure
not an
many
open
people.
secret at this point.
It's honestly, there's no secret about it. She is being as blunt as possible, but just, as I know that she is also quite litigious, I'll just keep her name out of it, just for the sake of, everyone's safety. But all that to say, it really did deeply affect me to know that there is a world like this out there that would still accept someone like me. And I know that that has got to mean a lot to a lot of kids out there who are like me. And I think if I was going to make media, if I was going to, be on something that was, truly mine, I would want to be on something like that. Something that can exist both as an incredible piece of media, an incredible cartoon, incredible production, some incredible animation and storytelling that also showcases just people like us and can be there for people like us. I think something like that would just be amazing to be able to work on.
Yeah. When you talk about the Owl House, wow, the Owl House, there we go, nailed it. It was
Perfect.
just kind of like, yeah, talk about the timing that it came out, man, because I I remember it first premiered like I don't know if it actually aired like at the tail end of 2019 or during the very beginning of 2020 where we could talk about 2020 all we want, but I think one of the bright spots that we did get from it was the just voice acting that's just blossoming, so many different actors just getting their beginnings,
Oh
and
yeah.
then yeah, and also just a lot of shows and games that are just kind of just really helping people through those really difficult. I mean, we're still going through hard times for that matter. Like nobody is gonna be like, oh, life is just so incredibly easy or peachy keen. Nah, we kind of go through some hardships in life,
Mhm.
and yeah. But I'm just saying that in the midst of these dark times, it's like when people start creating art that just really leaves such a huge large impact on others. It's like, you know what, if you're leaving your mark on something in animation, that just means you're doing something right, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely, absolutely. Like, you're very right. Like, 2020 was horrifying for a lot of reasons, but
Hmm.
like, it is very fortunate that we had the strides we did in fields like remote voice acting. So many people were able to get their start as a result of the lockdown. I hate to paint a silver lining on a dark cloud, but it at least is something that we can take out of that to be a little grateful for during a very bad time. And the sheer amount of art that did come out of it, I know had to have helped so many people during that incredibly difficult period. And no, you're very right. Like, art does carry that kind of importance. It has that kind of effect, where even during times that are difficult, that are trying and very hard, it has the power to uplift and bring us through it and help us feel something lighter in, stormier times.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at like something like World War II with like the Hollywood way back in the day, where I mean, especially with animation studios, as they
Mm.
kind of made a lot of shorts that were very much like the medicine that the audience certainly really appreciated. And there's also the old days of radio and vaudeville, and if we're going back then, but I'm just bringing that as an example because of like, with really with historic moments like that, it's like times like that and times like now, it's like there's really no better time to just be somebody that is like the light in the midst of all the darkness in the world. There's really no better time to just be somebody that's just like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna reach out to this one person and I'm just gonna leave a smile on their face. And if you could do that, oh sorry, bravo. I hit my mic.
You're totally
But
cool.
yeah, bravo. So yeah, going back to the Oh my God. I was almost about to say the Loud House. That's Nickelodeon, but like,
That's different.
yeah, that's a much different show. And Owl House, though, and besides, like, at least Owl House didn't suffer seasonal rot. Oops. But Owl House is,
Yeah.
and also had a problematic creator, so there's that. But Owl House, going back to that, it's like, it really was a show that was kind of, how can I put this? It's a show that I know a lot of people are going to say, but doesn't it use like the cow art style? No, Owl House is a completely just. I mean, you might from the surface, it might seem like a lot of the other shows that Disney was kind of putting out at the time, but it was kind of doing its own thing. I mean, like a lot of the people that worked on the show, I mean, including Alex, for instance, have done Gravity Falls. So
Yeah.
it kind of has a lot of that humor and sensibility, but Dana and, her team, the team that is working on it, was still trying to, make a show that was kind of very vastly different from Gravity. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Gravity Falls. I think the Owl House kind of has its own unique charm to it that
Oh, hugely.
honestly is kind of like, that makes it kind of stand out in a way that's not like a Gravity Falls knockoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Same with
Like,
Amphibia. Yeah, for that matter.
oh God, don't get me started on Amphibia. The period of time in which Owl House and Amphibia were running was my own personal heaven. Both of those shows hit such like unique but powerful resonances just in cartoons that I was absolutely thriving during their airtime. I honestly like and maybe this is just the coldest take ever, but I really consider those two to be like sister shows because they explore so many of those same themes of
Yeah.
self-exploration, found family, and they end on such, uniquely different but equally important notes that it touches my heart to just think about them. But yeah, no, like in a lot of ways, they are very much like Gravity Falls because they are shows that are more narrative focused. They each have, this story that is that everything is moving through. It is this central narrative that everything is moving towards. They're all going towards an actual ending. It's not just like some big episodic thing. And that has been something that has been thriving in years since, like, in the years since Adventure Time. And yeah, you can
Wow.
definitely, yeah, you can definitely see a lot of, Hirsch's influence just because of, him being in the writer's room on that. But no, it definitely has a lot of its own unique qualities to help it stand on its own that I very much enjoy.
And he also voices a lot of the, pretty much a lot of the fan favorite characters in a
Yeah.
way.
Mhm.
Sorta. Yeah, depending on who you are. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know of anyone that doesn't like King of Demons.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of is the breakout. He's kind of like the Fonzie of the show. There's a trope that is like the breakout stars of a series, and they
Oh,
dub
sure.
it as the Fonzie, as like that one character everybody keeps remembering or goes back to.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it was not just the Loud House or Amphibia, but we also got like a bit of a resurgence of like Disney animation because we got Big City Greens. What
Yeah.
else is there? The Mickey Mouse shorts, which I know is kind of
Oh,
divisive with a lot of people, but I personally love. Like some of the humor might not be my cup of tea, but dude, Mickey. I mean, when you really look at the old cartoons, like, the Mickey is kind of like the happy-go-lucky, just kind of
yeah.
cheery mascot. But here, though, they kind of just made him into like a. Watching these shows is kind of like watching like a hot diggity demon or like a Ren and Stimpy in the best way possible.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lot of. I mean, there's a lot of influence in there, so that's to be expected. Just artists. I mean, Paul Rudish did work on like what's that one show in Nickelodeon? Like My Life Teenage Robot, I guess.
Oh,
So
yeah,
there's a
okay.
lot of that influence in there with his own personal touch and style on there. So yeah, that's to be expected. And then for Wander Over Yonder, just in the midst of all of these episodic shows, you got like these really looser, like more fun, cartoony type of shows that are like they're really appealing, but in a way, it's like they're totally different from the next show to another. And I have to say that Disney, like in recent years, has had the most diverse out of all of the shows that they put out because you have the comedy, but then you also have the drama, and then a lot of deep storytelling in between. I mean, not to knock on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, but it feels like a lot of the stuff that they're doing is like either Teen Titans Go, SpongeBob, or just have like a lot of this fast-paced zany comedy in there, but it kind of has the fine mix between like having all these elements and just definitely having that Avatar, The Last Airbender influence kind of helps in a way. And
Yeah.
if we're going back, like even in the 90s, let me show you this. Like even, oh, hold up. Like even going as back as Batman.
Oh
So,
yeah. Mhm.
and these are all shows that I have actually been rewatching, and they still hold up today as they did way back in the day, which is really good because you want a show that still holds up years later down the line. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. You want something that's going to stand the test of time, like that even years to decades, centuries down the line will still be looked at and can still be seen as good and can still like hold up after all that time. Because you're absolutely right. So much of that, now classic animation really does hold up. Like I mean, you mentioned Batman the Animated Series. That is unimpeachably good. But even beyond that, you have the Superman series, Justice League, Batman Beyond. Like so many of those early
A lot
narrative
of the
cartoons were
Bruce Timm and
fantastic.
Paul Dini stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like that is a level of quality that DC animation did not see again for a long time.
Mm,
We're just kind of getting back to that in things like, at least in my personal opinion, Creature Commandos. I thought that show was amazing, and that was, I thought, a very nice return to form. Personally, I know not a lot of people. I know there are some people who don't feel the same way. I personally loved it.
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think that show was directed by one of my all-time favorite voice actors, Charlie Adler, because he also does directing and a lot of different. I think he mainly does a lot of directing for like Nickelodeon, and he did some Cartoon Network stuff and Disney. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely, if you watch like a classic Shupo, like Rugrats, stuff from like
Mm-hmm.
90s, 2000s, there's a good
Mm-hmm.
chance it's a show that was directed by him. But
Yeah.
yeah, for those that don't know Charlie, Cow and Chicken, Tiny Toons, legend.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and I got to meet him recently, which was so fun. I
Ah,
really liked.
jealous.
Yeah, I should probably send some pics over, but once we're finished, wrap up with this. But
Totally,
uh,
totally.
I think with a lot of this that comes into play, like a lot of the shows that I mentioned, like particularly Gravity Falls, like oh, and Phineas and Ferb and Star, and
Oh yeah.
like
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of these shows that are just bright and colorful. But then you also have these really episodic adventures that is like, is DuckTales. I cannot believe I did not.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
DuckTales 2017. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
yeah. So a lot of this stuff that you take influence from, like Gravity Falls, is pretty much one of my all-time big inspirations for Sullivan, and you can kind of see it with a lot of the
Oh,
character
sure.
designs that we do for it, and the some of the personalities. One of the main one of the main fun. I mean, I will say it's a fun challenge. It's not really hard for us because we kind of knew that, like, yeah, we don't want like the main character to just be like a Dipper 2.0 or just make the characters that are just too similar to Gravity Falls, but still make them unique in a way that we're just trying to do our own thing. Just have like this fun little, scary maze game, but just make it more for like have this Gravity Falls Stranger Things edge to it. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like it's gonna be full on like I don't know Freddy Krueger or Saw
Oh,
or anything.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I definitely do want to talk about when you recorded the teaser because I think you kind of sent me your lines like I don't think we even did a session. You just kind of sent them to me and
No, yeah, it was independent direction, yeah.
in its direction. Like, dude, I think your scream towards the end just really made the whole thing, man. Like, I'm just like, yeah, Josie. That was just like, oh, when I listened to it, I'm like, yes, yes,
Aw, I'm
that's
so
what I
happy to hear
wanted.
that. No, I'm really delighted to. I mean, obviously, I know you took it, and that's great, but it's really nice to hear that you enjoyed it so much. That's always just so
Yeah,
delightful.
and you kind of, I'm just glad that you even made the cut, period, because the casting process was, I don't want to say it's a nightmare, but it was during the time where I'm just like, oh, I'm doing my own thing. And it's like, I want to work with so many of y'all, but I just cannot because I just had to choose one
Ah, the
person.
casting director's dilemma, having so much
Yeah.
talent, but having to squeeze it down to one
And then it's
choice.
like when you want to work with talent later down the line, it's going to take a long time before you actually get to them.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, I'm just glad with the crew that I got for for the
Oh,
teaser and
yeah.
for the episodes going forward with the main characters. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, absolutely. I've seen some of the names you got on there, and you got some insane talent.
I still cannot believe I have like Sean and Bell and all these people on here.
Oh, like Bell, love working with him. He does amazing work, and I am so delighted to see him whenever he comes up.
Yeah, and he's kind of been really kicking a lot of butt in the indie animation scene. Like
Oh, no
he just
kidding.
he just recently announced like this new this and that thing that yeah, it's literally called this and that. It's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
indie
I
thing.
auditioned for that one. Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
it was so hyped to see that he had made it
yeah.
on there.
And of course it wouldn't be an indie project without Michael Kovac in it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he is like basically the face of indie VA right now. Like
yeah.
you cannot like walk two steps without tripping over a Michael Kovac role. And
Or yeah.
no, go
Oh,
on, go on.
continue.
Oh, I was just saying, good for him, honestly. Like the guy
Yeah.
is mad talented. I absolutely see why he is everywhere.
Yeah. Or Elsie Lovelock, one of the
Yep.
two.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
oh
both of
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm just so happy for a lot of my friends that are really killing it, but I'm just really happy that I got to work with some of them for my stuff, which is still insane to me.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you on that. Like the recording sessions for Lackadaisy were absolutely insane because I was able to be in the room with so many of these folks. It was absolutely mind-blowing,
Wow.
but so
Yeah.
enriching.
Yeah, I gotta talk to you about, Lackadaisy. So getting to be in that, just share, gush all about it.
I,
Your whole
oh,
story and
uh,
experience.
so there's still some stuff I can't say because, show's
I
still in
know, yeah,
production.
yeah. It's the pilot came out, so we
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
say
Like
much.
actual season is still in production, so I can't say a whole bunch.
Of
I at
course.
least my role was announced months ago, like early last year, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, no, just such a fun recording. Like I'm trying to like compose my thoughts on it because it was still like one of my most like positive recording sessions that I ever had. Just being in the room with that kind of talent and playing off of them, it was some of the most fun I've ever had performing because like live sessions already are such enriching environments and it's so fun to be able to play off of someone as you are doing this. And doing it with people, to doing it with people like Bell and Parker Simmons and Michael and so many of the others. It was it was so much fun. I mean that's the biggest thing. It was so much fun. I really, really look forward to, doing something like that in a studio setting like that again so that I can have that kind of fun again.
Yeah. Wow, Parker Simmons. That's a name that takes me back.
Hmm.
I believe he did like that Dr. Mario, like that. I am Dr. Mario.
Oh, that's a different guy. That's Brental Floss. Parker Simmons is the
Brendel.
guy who created and voiced Mau Mau from Mau Mau Legends of Pure
Yeah,
Heart.
that's him.
There
Mau
we
Mau.
go. Mhm.
Yeah. But I know he does like a lot of animation, so I
Yeah.
he's a
Oh,
really
I guess he
talented
might
dude.
have done the animation on that. I never actually knew that, but yeah.
Yeah. So he might have done the animation. I don't know, but probably
Yeah.
somebody else. So we'll see. Yeah, with indie animation, just going into that real quick, I think it's kind of like the main thing that's just kind of like, dude, it is absolutely thriving in the like. I know that mainstream animation is kind of really struggling right now, but indie
Mhm.
animation is more so. I really think that it's kind of like we're in a new age where there's a lot of content out that you can watch on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of the like you mentioned, Lackadaisy, like the what is it? Digital Circus,
Yes.
the Vivzy Pop stuff, and just pretty much a lot of so many cartoons that are just now getting picked up for series. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Digital Circus. I think the digital, yeah, that show. I think episodes you can watch it on Netflix, which
You
is
sure can.
crazy. Yeah,
Hmm.
not even the cast knew about it until they got an announcement. So I think that is super cool. Of like,
Hmm.
wait, it's on Netflix. Oh, hey, you know what? Give them the residuals. Like they earned it. Give
Absolutely.
Gooseworks
Absolutely.
all the all the love,
Please.
man. Yes, please do. Just please.
Hmm.
Ah, man. But yeah, I'm just excited for Solomon Shrine and just excited for what's going to be coming up in the foreseeable future. Any final thoughts or any last words that you'd like to say? I know it's kind of super short and I wish we talked longer, but maybe
Ooh,
next time.
Hey, this
Yeah.
has been totally fun. This has been totally fun. I mean, I'm also really looking forward to, seeing Solomon Shrine and how it develops. I'm always looking forward to seeing, new indie animation and seeing new productions
Yeah.
come up. It's always super fantastic. I guess if I was to leave this with any final thought, it's just like, yeah, indie animation is in a bit of a renaissance these days, but that is only because of the avid support of its viewers and the people who enjoy it. So, if there's a show you like, if there's a creator you like, if there's an indie studio you like, for what you can, just, try to support the art you love. Toss them some money on Patreon, toss them some, merch purchases or donations or what have you. But just, we live based off of what the audience does. So it's always good to support the art you love, the art that you want to see.
Exactly. Do you want to plug in your socials and
Oh, sure, sure,
projects and
sure.
stuff? Yeah.
Absolutely. So like I said, I just an episode of the Sheridan tapes that I was in just released. They are going to be releasing some more B-sides coming up. That actual whole studio, Homestead on the Corner, is entering a bit of a re-debut. So look out for any Homestead on the Corner stuff that's coming out. Fantastic quality stuff. You can find me on social media at Blue Sky, at dturtlevier, at bsky.social, or on my website, josiesumner.card.co.
Yeah. Definitely including all of it in the description. So I think if we were to do an outro, you could just say your name, list of projects you're in, and this is Station Square Podcast with Robert Jackson, if you're up to it.
This was what podcast?
Oh, the Station Square
Station
Podcast.
Square podcast. Got it, got it, got it.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
Solomon's right. I'm sorry.
Okay. Solid Shrine Pie. Okay, cool, 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 cool. But yeah, hey, this has been Josie Sumner on the Solomon Shrine podcast. Sorry, what is your last name?
Robert Jackson.
Robert Jackson. I knew you were Robert. I didn't remember Jackson. Excuse me. But yeah, this has been Josie Sumner on the Solomon Shrine podcast with Robert Jackson. You can find me in, Matinee Cabaret Be Our Guest, Sheridan Tapes episode B-side episode B13, upcoming in Lackadaisy season 1, and in a bunch of projects coming down the road that are, little hush hush.
Yeah, totally. I guess to really close out this interview, would you like to pull out a little Vincent Price?
Now, Robert, you can always ask me for a little Vincent Prize.
Buy my Pepsi. It's very just and incredibly flattering. Totally not sponsored, but yes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to go off to the Haunted Mansion. Good day, fellas. Oh, I just do really enjoy Grace Mouse Detective. One of my all-time favorite roles. True fact, fun fact, that really
Oh,
was one
nice,
of it.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, we lost him way too soon. But anyways,
Oh, yeah.
fun to pull out our Vincent Prices and do whatever impersonations that we can just steal and use it for a new character. So,
Oh, absolutely,
thank you,
absolutely.
Vincent.
Like if I ever have the chance to pull out a rat again, I am going to be living.
Yeah, live in it, man. So I
Mm.
guess I'll probably just close it with this. Not as Vincent Price, but I'll let you guess who I'm doing. Thank you for watching the Solomon Shrine podcast. Please come back next time if you dare.
If I'm not mistaken, that sounds a lot like Peter Lorre.
Yes, you fat bloated idiot. Take care, y'all. I'm done. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yes. Let's take over the world together, Pinky. Anyways, I'm done. Bye.